Today we are in sunny Malaga to drive the new Alpine A390, a sleek electric sport fastback designed to bottle the spirit of the iconic A110, but with everyday versatility. It slots in between the A290, a sporty variant of the Renault 5 E-Tech, and the upcoming all-electric A110, and brings some serious engineering pedigree with it. 3 electric motors, 1 up front and 2 at the rear, to deliver Alpine's first ever all-wheel drive EV and enable the brand's new active torque vectoring system. The goal isn't headline-grabbing performance figures, but pure driving enjoyment. We'll see about that later. Designed and manufactured in France, right down to its exclusive Michelin tyres and Devialet audio system, the A390 is the brand's vision of an electric future, but still recognisable as an Alpine. Its dimensions are reflected in its name, which in Alpine's nomenclature combines an A followed by 3 digits. Here, the 3 refers to the size of the vehicle, and the 90 to the brand's versatile everyday vehicles. Yeah, I don't really get it either. At 4.6 metres long and just under 1.9 metres wide, it is the biggest car the company has ever made and comparable in size to the Tesla Model Y. Its coupe-like styling does a good job of disguising its size, at least, with the compact glass house and that helmet visor rear window, giving it a tightly drawn athletic look. Peek a little closer and you'll notice the crisp shoulder lines, hidden rear door handles and dramatic bonnet blade that channels the air for aerodynamic efficiency. In fact, aerodynamics is one of the major contributors to the electric range and has been carefully considered in every detail, including, to name but a few, the 17-degree roof angle, rear wheel flaps, rear window spoiler and an 8-degree angle for the diffuser, inspired by the Le Mans Daytona H prototypes. The front bumper is carved with triangular forms inspired by mountain peaks and incorporate openings that create air curtains to further reduce drag. And those triangles appear again in the lighting signature. The illuminated cluster of polygons called cosmic dust apparently evoke a comet piercing the atmosphere and animate as you approach the car. There's even a ground projection welcome light with the Alpine logo surrounded by snowflakes. Matching the front is a rear razor-thin light bar with yet more, yep, you guessed it, fragmented triangles. And for the Alpine superfans, there's a tiny Easter egg, a miniature A110 silhouette hidden in the corner of the windscreen. There are 6 body colours, and depending on the spec, you can go for a body colour or contrast black for the roof, with gloss black wheel arches and sills as standard. Wheel options range from aerodynamic 20-inch crystal rims inspired by endurance racing in gloss diamond cut or matte black, right up to 21-inch wheels that reinterpret Alpine's snowflake design. Step inside the Alpine A390 and the whole atmosphere shifts. This is a cabin designed first and foremost to be sporty, but without compromising comfort or quality. Alpine has gone all in on materials here. The dashboard, centre console and door panels are wrapped in leather, and the whole interior is bathed in a sophisticated ambient lighting signature. 2 crisp high-definition displays, a 12-inch central screen and a slightly bigger digital cluster are angled towards the driver. And joy of joys, there are physical climate controls and specific switchgear for audio controls too. The centre console takes cues from the A110 with the distinctive R&D toggle layout, flanked by 2 customisable wings. The seats continue that blend of comfort and performance. The standard Alpine sport seats are electrically adjustable and heated, trimmed in Alcantara microfiber or leather, and finished with an arrow-shaped Alpine A motif. Higher trims step up to the Standout designed bucket seats, wrapped in blue and grey Napa leather, with optional carbon twill or forged carbon backs to match the dashboard inserts and massage function. Everywhere you look, the materials and finishes feel carefully considered. There are aluminium speaker grills, optional microfiber headlining, and a long list of Atelier Alpine customisation options, from brake caliper colours to unique seat and wheel designs. Practicality also gets attention. The 5-door layout makes access genuinely easy, and those sitting in the rear outer seats get proper lateral support for when the driver starts enjoying himself. And with 532 litres of boot space, plus an optional double floor, the A390 offers far more versatility than you'd expect from a car that still proudly carries Alpine's sporty DNA. The Alpine Portal system is built on the Android Automotive connection system and Google Automotive services. It is designed to be fluid and efficient and is continuously updated over the air. Intuitive and straightforward, it can be operated like a tablet using the touchscreen or the integrated voice assistant. The screen permanently displays the status bar at the top, shortcuts to the main menus on the left, and climate controls at the bottom. The homepage can be customised using widgets. The flat bottom steering wheel, heated and finished in Napa blue leather, integrates controls for the driving modes, ADAS, phone, voice command, and I can choose what view I want on my instrument display. Now down here I have a blue aluminium rotary knob which is inspired by Formula 1 and has the letters RCH on it for recharge. There are 4 levels of brake regen and a separate 1 pedal mode. And then up here there's an overtake function which provides 10 seconds of extra power. Now the A390 also offers launch control. Simply put in sport mode, press that aforementioned overtake button on the steering wheel, then release the brake. A spectacular animation is displayed on the instrument panel, accompanied by a low-frequency sport sound, which accompanies torque peaks to offer more character. Talking of which, there are 2 Alpine sound tones, which are a result of a collaboration between Alpine's teams, acousticians, and musicians. And the less intense of the 2 is called Daily and is designed to accompany, yep, you guessed it, everyday driving. They're pumped through the Devialet high fidelity sound system, which is pumped through an 850 watt amplifier, a huge subwoofer and 13 speakers. Yeah, that's pretty quick. Has Alpine switched to electric power dulled its obsession with driving pleasure? I'll answer that in a bit, but first of all, I want to talk about the distinctive electric powertrain that's in this car, which comprises of a wound rotor motor at the front and 2 independent permanent magnet motors at the back, each driving its own wheel. It's an all-wheel drive system, but with the dynamic flavour of a rear-wheel drive sports car. This 3-motor architecture is not just designed for power, but for precision, and it's the foundation for Alpine's torque vectoring system. It's been extensively tested by the brand's own engineers and test drivers, and because each wheel has its own motor, the A390 can continuously and instantly adjust torque side to side, sharpening cornering and improving stability in a way traditional EV layouts simply can't match. The system is seriously quick to react, and I mean, we're talking milliseconds, so it's always right there with you, making the car feel incredibly intuitive. What really makes a difference is how it juggles torque between the 3 motors. First of all, it balances front to rear, and then it fine-tunes things from left to right across the back axle. You can really lean the A390 into corners, and it gives this wonderfully light, almost effortless feeling as it rotates, almost like a super smart rear differential working overtime. And in a straight line, especially if the surface is uneven, it just grips and goes. So you get a proper sense of Alpine sportiness, but with this baked-in sense of control and safety. If you're curious, you can even see what the system is doing. There's a dedicated display on the digital cluster and within Alpine Telemetrics showing exactly how the car is distributing torque as you drive. It's quite fun to watch if you're into the technical side of things. Alpine torque vectoring also works alongside torque pre-control, which essentially manages power before it hits the wheels, and with up to 596 pound-foot of torque in the DTS model, it's what keeps everything usable and tidy rather than overwhelming. And of course, you've got 5 driving modes on a steering wheel shortcut: save, normal, sport, perso and the new track mode. Normal, Sport and Track each bring different settings for the torque vectoring, stability control and traction control. Buyers get a choice of 2 versions, each offering different level of trim, but a good amount of kit as standard. There is the A390 GT with 400 horsepower. And then there is the GTS with 470 horsepower. What really stands out is how repeatable the performance is. Alpine has engineered the A390 so that its acceleration and power delivery remain consistent even when the battery isn't fully charged, something many EVs struggle with. And for track days or spirited driving, there's manual battery preconditioning. So you can prime the battery for maximum output before a hot lap or cool it down afterwards to maintain the condition of the battery and performance. Thanks to Alpine's active torque vectoring, it all feels very natural and that you're in perfect tune with it. It will happily transition from understeer to neutral or even oversteer. The car really is responsive to load transfers and allows drifting without counter-steering. Bespoke branded tyres developed with Michelin also contribute significantly to the overall balance. To answer my earlier question, the result is a truly sporty driving experience that's not been dumbed down by being electric. Working alongside all of this is a very short steering ratio, meaning minimal inputs result in big changes of direction, giving the car a real direct, intuitive feel. It's super light, but firms up when you want it to in the corners. A short wheelbase together with wider tracks, a low centre of gravity and almost perfect weight distribution provides the foundation for a car that feels incredibly balanced and playful. The A390 chassis has been tuned so that it feels stable with hydraulic stops to make it comfortable, yet it manages to feel dynamic and exciting. The brake setup, comprising of 365mm discs clamped by 6-piston calipers and Alpine First, provides outstanding feedback and there's no perceptual transition between regen and those brakes. The latest generation of driver assistance systems are all present and correct, featuring progressive driver attention monitoring, forward and reverse automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, and occupant safe exit when parking. A My Safety button beside the steering wheel lets you instantly customise all of the ADAS settings, and adaptive cruise control with stop and go is standard. Some versions will even shift slightly within the lane to give space to passing two-wheelers. The A390 is the first car to debut a brand new high-performance battery developed specifically for Alpine by French specialist Vercours. And yes, the whole thing from the cells to the modules is made in France. Alpine gave Vercours a pretty tough brief. The battery had to deliver huge discharge power up to 1200 amps to feed all 3 motors, and it needed to do it repeatedly without fading, even as the state of charge drops to around 30%. To make that happen, Vercours re-engineered its entire 400-volt battery setup. It uses a high-nickel NMC chemistry for better energy density and a beefed-up cooling system with higher water flow, keeping everything stable when you're driving hard. Range is impressive too, with up to 345 miles on the 89 kilowatt-hour pack on the 20-inch wheels and up to 323 miles on the 21-inch setup. A heat pump is standard across the board, helping the cabin to keep warm or cool without eating too much into your range. When it comes to charging, the A390 can take up to 190 kilowatts on a DC fast charger, but what really matters is that it can hold higher charging speeds for longer. That means less than 20 minutes to add about 2 hours of motorway range, or a 15 to 80% top up in under 25 minutes, all dependent on final homologation, of course. And now for a beautiful sunset. Google Maps with built-in EV route planning is standard, so it can work out the best charging stops based on your route, battery, temperature, real-time consumption, and automatically precondition the battery before you arrive at a charger. And with the Mobilize ecosystem and Charge Pass access, finding and using chargers is pretty painless. The My Alpine app gives you remote access to everything you'd expect: location, range, charge level, charge time, and lets you plan routes schedule charging, precondition the cabin, or even flash the lights if you've lost it in a car park. We've all been there. On board, AC charging is 11 kilowatt as standard with an optional 22 kilowatt upgrade. And the A390 even supports vehicle to load for powering things like an e-bike and vehicle to grid through mobilised power, which can help reduce your home charging costs. As well as semi-autonomous driving and automatic parking, the GTS gets an upgraded version of Alpine Telemetrics from the A290, giving you 3 main tools: live data, coaching and challenges. It updates through the Play Store, so it works just like an app and you can have multiple profiles. Live data is your enhanced dashboard showing real-time info in 4 areas: agility, power, endurance and circuit. There's also a built-in driving tutor that helps you understand the car better and improve your driving. It covers everything from basic cornering and braking to advanced techniques like drift control, plus tips from Alpine's own engineers and development drivers. There are challenges you can take too, both on the road to help improve efficiency and, if you're fortunate enough to have access to closed roads, a fun game-style set of missions based on agility, power and endurance. I'm not quite sure how much the average owner will actually use this though. Seems a little gimmicky to me. But if you do like the sound of it, there is also a companion app that records video and telemetry together so you can replay your drive with all of the data overlaid. You can access your challenges and coaching here too, and even share your runs. It's a brilliant tool for reviewing your driving and improving between outings, or just showing off a particularly good lap with your mates down the pub. The Alpine A390 isn't just Alpine's first electric fastback, it's proof the brand can embrace the future without losing the magic that made the A110 so loved. It looks sharp, feels premium, and underneath all that style is some seriously clever engineering. The triple motor setup and active torque vectoring give it the agility and playfulness you just don't get in most EVs. And the new high performance battery means the fun doesn't fade even when the state of charge does. It's comfortable, practical and packed with tech. From the Devialet audio to Alpine's Telemetrics, which basically turn every drive into a lesson, a challenge, or both. And when you push it, the A390 genuinely delivers. It's balanced, responsive, and far more characterful than an electric SUV has any right to be. How much is it though? The question you've all been waiting for, and an answer that I don't have. We've only been given rough estimates, and the GT model is quoted to be around £62,000 and the GTS £70,000, and it's expected to go on sale in the UK in Q1 2026 with delivery starting in Q2. So with the entry-level model undercutting the Porsche Macan electric and the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, that makes the Alpine A390 a very attractive proposition indeed. It's not quite as nuts as the South Korean hooligan, but it's definitely more fun than the well-rounded German. For me, the French underdog takes the flag. If the A390 is anything to go by, Alpine certainly hasn't gone soft. In fact, it feels like the start of a very exciting new chapter. See you on the next corner.